All right, guys, welcome back to the right guard analysis. We're going to be looking at four different prospects in this video. And to be perfectly honest, I only feel like one of them is a sure thing to be drafted. Right guard's kind of interesting, where at a certain point, if you're not bringing upper level athleticism or strength to the table, you're very anonymous. And you could end up getting scooped up in like the sixth round, but you could just as easily slip through the cracks because there are a million of you out there. If you're just another typical right guard that can play in a phone booth and can win against bull rushers and can clear holes in the run game, then you don't have a lot of value because those guys are kind of all over. So we're gonna kind of go lightning round here a little bit because these guys are not the most interesting and they're also not the most covetable. But I do want to talk about some candidates here. Layden Robinson, Texas A&M. This is the guy who I do think will get drafted for sure. 23 years old, 6 foot 3.5, 302 pounds, which is lighter than you expect for a right guard. Nice long arms though, 34 and 5/8 inches, 10.5 inch hands. So the measurables there are nice. His vertical was low, but his broad jump was really good, so there is some explosiveness in his legs, 92 percentile. Walter Football has some unreasonable crush on him. They think he's a second round pick, mid second round. CBS has him in the fifth, PFF has him in the seventh. The database has him in the fifth, which that's kind of what I'm expecting to happen. Somewhere in the fifth round, this guy probably goes. I don't know what Walter Football's on, but they love him. The performance over the last 2 years has been, I mean, he got beat badly in pass protection in 2022, and then 2023 he got better, but this is still substandard. This is still definitely a problem for him. His pass protection is very leaky. He's got a great build. He's very physical and tough. He's kind of a traditional mauler right guard. He's got a great punch in his pass pro set. He's got long arms, much longer arms than you would typically find on the inside. Moves well, moves better than you would think when he goes to the second level, and he's somebody who doesn't stop until the whistle blows. But he's going to lose the leverage battle a lot because he plays standing straight up. Hand placement is lacking. That's something that can be coached up, but right now he doesn't put his hands in the right places to maximize his leverage. Lateral movement is labored and slow, so he's going to lose the edges sometimes. Twists and stunts will confuse him, and when he's in pass protection, he just gets caught off balance way too much, which is why, despite playing right guard for Texas A&M, he gave up so much in pass protection. So he's got a long way to go in that regard, but he is a mauler. I think there is some value there, but just not to the Seahawks with what they probably need. I'd put sixth round value on him generally. So wouldn't draft him here, but somebody should, and somebody's going to be getting a pretty appealing run blocking prospect. He's a good road grader. Next guy, CJ Hanson of Holy Cross, and we got a small school guy here. Always fun to do those. He does look the part, 6'5", 300 pounds. Again, that's lighter than a typical right guard, but there's nothing wrong with that. 32 and 3/8 inch arms, 9 and 3/8 inch hands. He ran a really good 40, 5 seconds flat, 95th percentile for all guards. Pretty good 10-yard split, 71st percentile. Had a great vert, had a great broad. The guy's a crazy good athlete, and that's why he's gotten some positive attention here. Now, it's not much. PFF thinks he'll be in the seventh. CBS thinks he'll be in the undrafted range. Mock draft database says seventh round. So it's not much, and it's understandable why. But this combine put this guy on the map, and I'm wondering if he bumps up a bit when all is said and done. His pass protection over the last 2 years has been good. His overall play's been good, but he's playing for Holy Cross, so it's tough sometimes to really evaluate. But his pass protection improved a little bit, and he's allowed 0 sacks over the last 2 seasons. He was a team captain for Holy Cross. He's a great athlete for pole blocking and second level work, so he'll fit right into his own scheme. His technique is really good in pass protection. He seems to be a real technician at the position, which you don't always find at the right guard spot. He's got a strong punch in his pass protection sets, hits targets in space well when he's peeling around on a pole block or he's working up to the second level. He finds the target and he hits it square. Maximizes run blocking with his understanding of how to utilize things like angles, so smart player. But there's not much of an anchor here, there's not much leg drive here, and at the end of the day, it's hard to get through as a right guard without having those things. It's almost enough to make you wonder if this guy moves over to left guard at some point because of his skill set, but that's a projection. That's a little bit harder to guess. His lateral quickness also isn't really there as much as you would like. I know the testing numbers are good. I know he's small, but his lateral quickness is a little bit labored, which would interfere with his ability to move to left guard because that's more important there. And mostly he played against weak competition when he was at Holy Cross. I think they played Boston College sometime, and that's about it. Um, Overall, I like CJ Hanson. It's the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. I wouldn't mind living with it, and there's a lot that you like with him. He's got a lot of experience playing football. He's got a lot of refinement to his game. I think there's some clearly good stuff here with CJ Hanson, and personally, if he's there in the 6th round, I am not against a small school flyer. I like him probably more than I should. I'm just intrigued by his athletic profile. All right, these last two guys are long shots to get drafted, and I have limited information on both of them. This first guy's another smaller school, UTEP, Elijah Klein. Could not find his age, could not find his measurements. I found his height and weight, I guess, but it's not official because it's wasn't taken at the combine or wasn't taken at a pro day. 6'4", 319 pounds, so he looks the part, I guess. And he's not on any of the big boards that I utilize. He is 340th on the mock draft database. So this is really kind of getting down to the bottom here, where you're really just searching for guys. And this is kind of what I'm talking about. If you're just another right guard prospect, you become anonymous very quickly. This guy's projected to go undrafted by like 80 picks. But the play's been good, right? Like, he drastically improved on his run blocking from 2022 to 2023. Went from 17 pressures allowed to 3. And his PFF grade jumped almost 5 points, or excuse me, over 5 points. So Elijah Klein, I mean, he's doing everything right? Just not resulting in much attention in the draft. He's strong. He looks the part of an NFL guard. He's got NFL guard size. He plays with a nasty edge. Got some tenacity, some ferocious play. Always finishes the play strong. Always looking for another guy to go lay a block on. Always looking to contribute in some way before the whistle blows. Keeps his body square through contact. He's got good contact balance. I think he's a cerebral player in how he handles himself post-snap as well. He has an understanding of how to keep his head up, recognize the stunt, recognize the twist, and pick it up. Leverage is a problem for him. He is 6'4", and he looks every part of it when he's playing. He's got to sink his hips. A lot of these guys have that problem. He's not a very good athlete. You can see that when you watch the tape on him. Moves slowly and awkwardly in space. Not really going to be a fit in a zone scheme. Not really going to be a fit in an offense that requires guards to play on the move. So he's a phone booth guy, and I think there's some value there. I would like to see his pro day, which I think is next week, to be truly conclusive here, but looks to me like he'll be a unlikely but potential developmental piece for a gap blocking scheme, and that's about it. Like, Elijah Klein will be lucky to make an NFL roster in his career, and it wouldn't be here. So I got no interest. I don't know why we would have interest in a player like this. So gonna pass on Elijah Klein. This last guy, little more interesting to me, played at a bigger school, has a little bit more of an athletic profile. Matthew Jones would be a guy that I think is at least a little more interesting than Klein. So let's finish on a slightly better note here, talking about Matthew Jones of Ohio State. Again, near the bottom, but there is some stuff here to like. He's already 25 when the season starts, so age is a thing, but he's got NFL size, 6'3.5", 316 pounds, relatively short arms, 32 and 5/8, 9-inch hands. His testing numbers were all over the place. 40-yard dash was pretty good, but his 10-yard split was miserable, 187. His vertical was okay. His broad jump was decent, 8'7". His 3-cone was, he may as well have driven a truck and been putting it in reverse and drive back and forth to hit the cones. So all over the place there. The only big board I found him on was CBS, and they have him going undrafted, and the mock draft database has him going undrafted. So again, we're kind of trolling the bottom here, but I kind of like this guy because he actually played good competition and did fairly well. You can see his pass protection improved from 2022 to 2023, and his run blocking did drop off a little bit, but he did improve in some key areas, and overall was a good piece for that Ohio State offensive line over the last couple years. So, what I would say about Matthew Jones is that he moves fairly well. I know the combine didn't do him any great favors, but I do think his lateral movement is good for picking up exotic pressure and mirroring the more athletic pass rushers out there. He can handle second level assignments. He can peel up to the second level and block linebackers. His run blocking technique is pretty good. The way he uses his hands, the way he uses angles, seems like he has a good understanding of that stuff. He's quick to engage. After the snap of the ball, he goes from stance to contact very quickly. And he also has some experience at left guard from his time at Ohio State, so he might offer some flexibility. But at the end of the day, he doesn't have a lot of strength. He doesn't have a lot of muscle. He doesn't have the ability to win against bull rushers the way you would like. Sometimes he gets caught lunging at the waist in pass protection, gets bullied a little bit by these longer armed tackles, and there are going to be some guys who give him fits. Again, not super common at the nose tackle position, but it does happen. And his bend just isn't what it quite needs to be in terms of getting low and winning the leverage battle. He's got some work to do. But I like the appealing traits here. It's a low ceiling. I don't think Matthew Jones will ever be a starter in this league, or a good starter at least. But I do think he belongs in the NFL in the right scheme. I think that his movement skills make him a decent fit for the Seahawks with where they are right now. I think that if he's there in the 7th round and you've got a pick, give him the call and you're not going to feel too bad about it. So yeah, Matthew Jones, not bad. Not the best or anything. I'm not super excited about it, but it works. I think there's some stuff here that works. All right, that's all the right guards that I found in this draft that were compelling. Let me know what you guys think. See you guys later. Go Hawks.